A very good evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you're tuning in from. Hello, Fujifilm family. How you all doing? Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Natalie. I'm here with you this afternoon in South African time to check out what could be a very interesting announcement coming from Fujifilm Global. I'm super excited to be here, and I am also really looking forward to share some hopes and expectations, and then to see what actually is going to get announced from head office today. We are here to connect with you, the audience, so we're looking forward to to chat with you and to get lots of questions. And hopefully we will be able to send you answers to everything that you would like to know around this X Summit that's coming live from Japan a little bit later today. So what we are going to do this afternoon is we are looking before the live, we're looking at what it is that we are expecting and what we are hoping Fujifilm will announce today. So we have about 30 minutes for that. Then we switch over at 3 o'clock for the live broadcast from Japan directly. So we will check in and see the actual live broadcast that is coming from Japan. So if this is where you wanted to tune in, you can stay right here because we will be with you there. And then afterwards, we'll have a bit of a discussion and see how we feel about what's been announced, what has been announced, and what we can look forward to coming to South Africa. And if you're watching from elsewhere, obviously wherever it is that you are watching from. So just to recap, we are now going to our speculative part of this session. We're going to see what we expect that's going to be announced before we head on over to the live stream. So if you have any questions, which I'm sure you do, please share them with us in the comment section, and we will make sure that we get to answer those as best we can. Please ask them in the comments freely, and send them to our way. If we don't have enough time to answer all those questions, or we don't have the answers before the live stream from Japan, we will definitely get to those questions after the announcement is finished. And we also have a few polls prepared for you and want to check out what your thoughts and feelings are. So please do join in, and let's make this a nice interactive experience all around. Let's hope that we get lots of food for thought coming from Japan and also from you guys before we switch over to Tokyo. I am not here by myself, though, this afternoon. I got some support from my awesome co-hosts that are waiting in the wings here for me. We have Paul Choy. He is live from Mauritius. Oh, gosh, I'm so excited I can't even speak. Let me start again. He's tuning in live from Mauritius this afternoon. He is my fellow ex-photographer and a documentary photographer and writer living on this beautiful Indian Ocean island. He's a true global citizen, and he travels all over the world to create books and magazines and all sorts of digital content with his amazing and outstanding travel photography. My second host is tuning in live from the Netherlands. He is an ex-photographer since he left South Africa for the Netherlands and about a year ago. So hello to Leon Oosthuizen. He calls himself a camera mamba ninja, a light wrangler, and photon cowboy. He's a serious tech whiz and a top-notch photographer across all genres of photography. And I am super excited to have them both with me right here, right now. So let's give a big shout out and hello to the two of them. And as soon as we can get them in here, we will, wave and say our hellos and hope that all the sound is good and they can hear us and we can hear them and we can see them. So off we go. if they are here with us, then they should be here right now. And here they are. Hello, hello. It's so excellent to see you guys. Can we hear you too? Hello, Paul. How are you doing there?
Hello, Natalie. I'm very well. How are you? And
I
I
am.
wish that I had a photo mamba ninja introduction, but I will happily accept Mauritius.
It is a great pleasure. It's so awesome to have you with us, Paul. It's great to see you and to hear you. And how are you doing? You shared with us that things are looking up. You've been really busy running around all morning, doing all sorts of things in preparation of Mauritius opening and welcoming people again from elsewhere in the world soon.
Indeed, it's been an interesting 18 months or so. I'm sure we've all had similar experiences. Obviously, as a travel documentographer, it's a little bit more you can't travel. I'm actually just back from a 2-month assignment in Europe. I did manage to get to Europe for a little bit, but it is still very tricky to travel. And I'm very excited for some of the borders to start reopening. And obviously, we're looking at how we can get back to photography in a safe and as active a way as possible in the very near future. So I'm very much looking forward to getting going again. I think my next assignment is actually in about 3 weeks' time. So yes, I'm looking forward to all the borders opening and we're getting going again.
Fantastic. That sounds absolutely awesome. I also want to say a big hello to Leon, who's tuning in, like we said, from the Netherlands. And we are very excited to see him and hopefully hear him. So big shout out. Hello, Leon. How are you doing?
Hi, Natalie. Hi, Paul. It's really good to have a chat with some familiar faces for a change. And also good to hear you now. We had a bit of a last minute audio problem, but I think that's sorted out. Once I could see you, I could hear you.
Fantastic. I am so glad that we can hear you, Leon. And it's wonderful to be here with the three of you. I'm super excited for this afternoon. I think we are in for some interesting announcements and, predictions, thoughts, speculations, and discussions a little bit later on. I want to give a quick shout out to everyone who's listening and watching from all over. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please do share your comments and thoughts with us. We are here for that, and we are looking forward to make it a nice, interesting discussions. First of all, I wanted to throw at everyone what you're expecting and what you're hoping this announcement this afternoon will bring to the Fujifilm world. And maybe I can, also throw that at Paul to start off with and see if he's got any, hopes and expectations of what is to come a little bit later on.
I mean, I think we all have many hopes. We all live in hope, don't we? And I would love to think that we're going to get some huge and exciting announcements coming out of brand new cameras. What the sort of thing I would love to hear of is everybody knows that I'm a big fan of the X100 series of cameras. I would love to hear something about a new conversion lens for an X100. Or I'd like to hear something about the X Pro range, perhaps something that's happening there. I have a suspicion that with these past 18 months of COVID and supply chain issues and the usual kind of things that the world is dealing with, I wonder whether or not we can live in hope. I suspect this is going to be more of a keeping the boat steady affair. I think that we're likely to hear of more of incremental developments, but I've still got my fingers crossed, and I would love to hear about something like an 85mm conversion lens for the X100V. We will see.
That is so interesting. My thoughts weren't, going in that direction, but who knows? we're always in for some surprises, so we'll see. But yes, maybe looking back at the time, it's not only been tough for us here, but across the world. So we'll see. Maybe it's a little bit more of a tame kind of an announcement. We will find out very, very soon. Regarding what the audience is expecting and hoping for, we've just thrown in a poll. So if you're looking on your device, you will see that popped up on the bottom. So please do share your thoughts with us, and we will share those results a little bit later. And Leon, over to you. What is the current lineup that that we think has a little bit of a gap where we can expect some new announcements? I think we want to also have a look at the website to just have a bit of a look. But Leon, if you can give us maybe a little bit of a take on where you think Fujifilm will add in the lineup. If so, if there are any expectations from that point of view, without putting you too much on the spot, of course.
Of course. Expectations, like Paul said, we all have hopes and dreams, but I think things that have been in a long time coming, that a lot of people have been asking for, I think might be a couple of other options in terms of longer focal lengths, maybe a longer zoom, something in the line of 150 to 500 or 150 to 600. Or perhaps updated bodies. There's a couple of bodies that haven't been updated for quite a while. And that's across the line. I think like the XT200 is fairly fresh. All the bodies that have been coming up in the last year and a half, I think it's fair to say that we can still count them as very current because of the COVID delay on time and development. But also uncertainty in world economics. So I think it's safe to say that we shouldn't rush ahead too far in our expectations. But then also I think a couple of the older lenses need refreshing. We saw the 18mm got an update. I mean, that's a big difference from the 18 f2. And last time we had a discussion. And as you know, that the 18 f2 is my favorite lens purely because of the focal length and its size. It's a very versatile lens for me, but it has a couple of drawbacks. It's not the fastest when it focuses, and they've upgraded that. So I'm hoping to see some of the older lenses maybe upgraded to newer focusing motors and maybe some weather resistance. I'm looking at you, 56 small. That 56 is not very video friendly. For anybody that tried autofocusing that in a video environment, that's not great. So the 50, they've upgraded the 50. I don't think they'll do the 56 anytime soon. So maybe one of the other older lenses, I reckon. Bodies and sensors. I'm not sure if we're seeing new sensors yet, but if it is, it will be a really cool announcement because that will mean that there will be a lot of interesting things happening soon in the lens lineup that pairs with those sensors.
Yeah. So we don't have a lot of time left. So I wanted to just quickly for us to have a look for people who are not too familiar with the current lineup. So we have, looking here, we do have the GFX range that goes obviously from the GFX 100 and the 100S down to the 50S and the 50R. That is what's current. And then also in the X series cameras, obviously we have got the XH1, the X Pro 3, and X Pro 2 that are still in the product range, and then moving on to the X T4 and 3 cameras, as well as then the latest XS10 and the XT30, XT20s, as well as I think then there is also, yes, we've got obviously the XT200 and 100 that are still in the product lineup, as well as the latest XE4 and then still the XE3, as well as the XA7 and XA5, all the way down to the premium contact ones and Paul's favorite cameras, the 100V and the 100F that are also still in there. So that's what's there currently. What we feel, needs to get added in there, we will find out very shortly. But what I wanted to find out also from the viewers, if you can share with us what currently you feel is your favorite lens and camera combo. Paul shared with us that he absolutely loves his X100V, which is obviously a 2-in-1 and absolutely phenomenal. That's also where I've got my soft spot. And Leon just mentioned his favorite lens is the 18mm. I don't know what camera body he shoots with, so maybe he can quickly, briefly chip in what kind of combo he loves to shoot with. Leon, you've got a few moments.
That is my standard. My standard is the 18mm on the XT3 at the moment. And otherwise, I also have the 56 in the bag as something longer. That's the standard kit that I have with me, and then I add to flavor.
Okay. And Paul, tell me, apart from your 100V, what's sort of your favorite lens and camera combo?
My main assignment setup is an X Pro 3, and I will almost always have the 16 to 55mm 2.8 on there. That's a great, the mid zoom, and it's tack sharp, and it's the workhorse. Whereas then I'll also generally have the 50mm f1 with me for portraits. So those two lenses will cover the majority of my assignments. As Leon said, I'll then add to flavor. And then the X100V is always with me. That tends to be more of my personal projects and assignments camera, whereas my professional work generally is the X Pro 3 with those lenses.
Nice one indeed. Oh, we have Tim sharing with us that he loves working with the XT3 and the 50-140. That's also a really nice combo. Thank you for sharing that with us, Tim. And then I just wanted to remind you all that we are open for questions. So if there is anything you would like to know, please share it with us in the comments. You are more than welcome to do that all the way during the broadcast. We will get to your questions after the announcement from Japan has been made and we are back here, all of us. And then we've got a little bit more time, not too much, pressure, and we can take time and discuss and really look at what's what and what everyone is looking for. We've got another poll that just popped up. If you want to share your thoughts with us here, what kind of an X series product, if you do have what you have, and you're always welcome to hear from you. So share your thoughts with us. There are a few more polls coming up, so we're looking forward to your answers there. Carla is saying, I'm currently shooting with the XT3 paired with the 16 to 55. It's a super versatile setup for weddings. Yes, that is definitely very cool and seems to be very popular all around. Paul, you're not alone there, but Tim and Carla are joining you with using that lens quite a bit.
I think that's the thing. That's the house of a lens. So it's it's got such versatility, and the beautiful thing with the f2.8, you can get some really beautiful depth of field, but still have that versatility of a mid-range zoom. So great choice for weddings. Great choice for a lot of scenarios.
Can I chip in there on that lens?
Please do repeat there, Leon.
No, I just wanted to know if I can chip in on the Paul's comment. The 1655 is a sweet lens, but I've shot with it many times, but I've never owned it because I just felt that it was, compared to all the other lenses I have, too big. And my 1855 got stolen 2 years ago, and I replaced it with a 1680. And I'll tell you what, I still miss that 18 to 55. I'm hesitant to call it a kit lens, a bundled lens, because it is versatile, and side by side, I couldn't really see much of a sharpness difference. So there's always a small lens that I kept with me as a backup. It's something that I'd like to see again.
Yeah, we'll see. We've got a question from the audience. Seth is asking, other than the obvious ability to swap lenses, what's the main difference between the X100V versus the XE4? That is a really interesting question. Since we're talking about the X100V, Paul, would you like to chip in a little bit there, maybe?
I mean, they're both very similar in size, and in fact, when you've got the pancake lens, it was released at the same time as the updated 27mm pancake lens, and they're very similar in size. Obviously, the key difference, as you identified, is the interchangeable lenses, but there's others as well. Notably, the X100V has the hybrid viewfinder, so you can switch between the optical viewfinder or the electronic viewfinder. Also, the X100V is weather sealed. Whereas compared to the XE4, of course, that comes with the caveat that we have to put a filter on the front of the lens just to get that full protection. Both of them share the sensor, so the image quality coming out of it, the images you're going to capture are going to be very similar. They're going to be identical because it's the same sensor. It's really just use scenario. The X100V has those extra things that just make it a perfect documentary camera. Whereas if you need to switch out the lenses, then the XE4 is maybe the way to go. Both beautiful cameras, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have a question, then please do ask us. Don't be shy. We are happy to answer everything and anything. And I've got, my wealth of knowledge here and my two colleagues, and they, are more than happy to spend some time to answer all your questions.
I feel Leon will have me pipped on the technical side of things. If you want instinctive photography, but Leon will have us all pipped on the technical side.
So we can hear from all sides. We can look at every question from more than one angle, and that should make for some really interesting conversations. We have about 3 minutes, I think a little bit less than 3 minutes left before it's time to tune into the announcement from Japan. And I think whatever questions there still are, we will get to them afterwards. So don't be shy or discouraged. Do stay with us. We're definitely here to, take this discussion further. And then also, to finally put all our speculations at rest and see what there is to come in the future for us. I think we should be moving over and just to see if Japan is ready for us. And just before that is starting, we have another poll for you because we love to, really find out what you feel and what the sentiments are in the audience, and because we're here to share and really hear your thoughts. Anesh is asking, which is better, the 18 to 135 or the 16 to 80 for hiking and overnight hikes? I'm currently using the 18 to 55. That's really interesting, and I think Leon will maybe point you one way. I'm not quite sure, but Leon, what would you recommend in this case?
In a nutshell, for what is asking about, the 18 to 135 is definitely the way to go, because you will want to shoot some landscapes, and I'm a keen fan of shooting landscapes with longer lenses, so the 135 is the winner for me there.
Okay, excellent. Short and sharp. Thank you for that, Leon. Tim says he's hoping for something a little bit longer in the range of 100 to 400 and a little sharper. Well, we are a few minutes away from getting on the road of discovery to see what's coming. And and we just, invite you to stay here with us to see what Japan has in store for us this afternoon. And I think we need to, move on, because I don't want us to be late. The last thing I want is for us to miss the broadcast right from the beginning. So if I can just get a thumbs up from the team in the back that we are just about ready to switch over. There we go. Okay. So we are ready to push the button. So no one needs to be, jumping anywhere else. We are right here. But Japan is not live just yet. Or are they? The countdown is running, as I can see. So I think it's time for me to say, enjoy the show, and see you a little bit later. Gentlemen, I'll check you out and we can discuss some more. I'm looking forward to it until afterwards.
Let's see what's to come.
Oh, can't wait.
Okay, fantastic. Here's the countdown, guys. It's coming your way shortly. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm super excited and see who can, whose wishes and dreams will be fulfilled, and what else they have in store.
I've still got my money on the 85mm conversion lens for the X100V. Let's see.
Yes, there's nothing quite like hoping. So let's see. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you. And check you after this one.
First of all, please allow us to share our great appreciations by many customers, and the total number of shipments so far is double of our original plan. Thank you so much. However, many of customers are still waiting for the delivery. We took an action to increase the production capacity, and we promise to send you the product as soon as possible. We appreciate your patience a little bit more. At the previous X Summit, we have announced our new message, more than full frame. I believe this message has been recognized and understood by many photographers and customers. Please allow me to share a video clip about the message from our customers and friends about GFX 100S.
Bigger center, bigger image circle, always result in better image quality.
Way you can crop in for the photos, it's really convenient. So it's really usable even for sports.
Gives me more cinematic look, gives me more detail in the picture, more than any full frame cameras.
作品が新しくなるっていう感じです。
All of my work need a very good depth of field and a very good color definition.
Upgrade my camera because I needed higher resolution and better image quality.
高感度になればなるほど、やっぱノイズが出てくるもんだと思うんですけど、特にカラーノイズ出てこないんです。
Because it shows totally different approach to photography.
How was the video? Various photographers such as commercial, press, fine art, filmmaking, archive are experiencing the power and potential of our GFX. We announced the first GFX 50S in 2017. And we have expanded our lineup with GFX 50R, GFX 100, and GFX 100S. We are now confident that our large format system is gaining more and more attention and interest. We believe that there are even more possibilities and potential to make this large format system an option for the customers. GFX system can be a new standard option for all. And we will support this by introducing more and more products. And today, we have another one. It is the GFX 50S2.
The beauty of this world leaves me breathless. I capture more. The feeling, the atmosphere, the vibrancy. I feel compelled to preserve each precious, wonderful memory. To share each moment of your story. A story that reminds me of the beauty I've seen. What do you see? What will you create? A new experience. Your story is just beginning. GFX 50S2.
This is our new GFX 50S2. As the name suggests, this camera has a 50 megapixel image sensor. We have begun the GFX system with this sensor back in 2017. But the resolution, dynamic range, and noise level are still outstanding. The image quality achieved by this sensor is superb, and is still a no match for most full-frame camera. The reason for the high quality is enough pixel size from the larger format. Although it has 50 megapixels, the pixel size is 5.3 micrometer. This pixel size is one of the largest among cameras that you can purchase today. Thanks to this advantage, the GFX is able to achieve wider dynamic range and better signal-noise ratio. Also, thanks to the wider pixel pitch, there is much less pixel mixing and realize higher resolution paired with the high-quality lenses. Please look at this raw image taken with our GFX. It looks as if the details are lost in the shadows and highlights. But if we look at the details, you can notice even the shadow within the shadows and highlight within the highlights. This sensor manages to capture the slightest changes of the tone with a massive dynamic range performance. And even if you make the push processing like this, you can hardly see noises within the image. You understand well that 50 megapixel sensor has higher signal-noise ratio. The larger pixel size does not only work for the dynamic range and the noise level. For our GFX, it contributes to the resolution as well. Resolution mainly depends on the number of pixels. But it does not mean that the higher number of pixels bring higher resolution. It is important to deliver the light accurately to the each pixels. Because of the wider pixel size, we were able to customize the micro lens on each pixel. By optimizing the size and shape of the micro lens, we managed to separate the light to each pixel and avoid unintended light from getting mixed. Please look at this chart. The horizontal is showing the level of the resolution, and the vertical is showing the noise level. The large format GFX system is far better in image quality, and it is no different for the 50 megapixel GFX cameras. Even when compared with full-frame cameras with higher number of pixels, the resolution is superior. For our new GFX 50S2, we have a lot more to talk about other than the high-performance image sensor. We combined the 50 megapixel sensor with the in-body image stabilization and the powerful image processor from GFX 100S. The performance of this camera exceeds your expectation. Mr. Oishi, the product planner of the GFX 50S2, will explain the details.
The appeal of the GFX 50S2 is not limited to image quality. It is also equipped with mobility that goes beyond the wisdom of conventional medium and large format cameras. What you are looking at now is the autofocus speed of the GFX 50S2 with the GF lens attached. Large format cameras have good image quality but slow autofocus. Now that the GFX system is available, you can see that this is not true. Moreover, the GFX 50S2 is equipped with IBIS, an in-body image stabilization system. The IBIS does not only contribute to the captured image or video, the light goes through the lenses and hits the image sensor. In other words, mirrorless cameras use the image reflected on the sensor surface for focusing, and the stable image information obtained by the IBIS lead to the ideal autofocus operation. The camera is also equipped with X Processor 4, which boosts high-speed processing and a refined autofocus algorithm. Autofocus is smarter, more intelligent, and tougher. If you shoot portraiture, you will not be disappointed with the effectiveness of face and eye detection. The camera keeps tracking the subject and captures that moment. The result you get is what large format photography is all about. You may want to take advantage of the GFX excellent SN and wide dynamic range, and shoot landscapes or astrophotography. In such scenario, The benefit of the tough autofocus algorithm in low light condition is outstanding. By changing the sensor drive system in low light conditions, it is possible to capture faint light and perform accurate focusing. IBIS and X-Processor 4 also play an important role in image quality. In camera systems with increasingly high pixel count, even a slight shutter shock can have a significant impact on image quality. IBIS functions an absorber to minimize the impact. The IBIS unit also makes pixel shift multi-shot function possible. 16 images shifted by half pixel each result in single DNG file of 200 megapixel. Of course, there is no false color, and we cannot forget about the film simulation. With the sensor with its rich dynamic range combined with X-Processor 4, you will be able to use all film simulations, including nostalgic neg. You can instantly select from as many as 19 unique and high-quality color reproductions. Whether you mainly shoot still images or video, you'll find the right color for you. 50 megapixel large format sensor, plus IBIS, plus X-Processor 4. These are not the only attractive features of this system. In fact, the GFX50S2 comes with over 100 new features compared to its other 50 megapixel models.
Thank you, Makoto. We have a lot more to tell you, but I believe that you were able to understand the key points of GFX50S2. Let me share the information about its availability as well, which many of you are probably interested in. The GFX50S2 will be in store from end of this month at the price point of $3,999 US. With the GFX100S, we have achieved the highest performance of large format camera while downsizing drastically. With the GFX50S2, we believe the large format system become much more affordable, and we expect that many of you will enjoy the large format camera. The door of more than full frame now fully open for a broader audience. Actually, we have another product which we have developed along with the GFX50S2. The mission for the GFX50S2 is to expand the world of more than full frame. And we are aware of the necessity to develop new lens that can work perfectly with the GFX50S2 to pursue the mission. Which means the lens can realize the superb image quality unique to the large format system, and it should be portable and respond quickly. We believe that such lens will enhance the benefit of GFX50S2 even more. This is the lens, GF 35 to 70 mm. This lens is the lightest GF zoom. The weight is only 390 grams. This will not become a burden to carry around the entire day attached to a GFX camera. Shooting a large format camera without tripod or even a camera bag was not something you could have imagined in the past. Although the size is very compact, the image quality has no compromise. Let me pass on to Mr. Nagami, the R&D member, who designs the optics of this lens.
GFX には50メガピクセルのボディも100メガピクセルのボディもあります。どのボディを使おうが、さすが GFX という画質を得られるのが GF レンズの条件です。GF3570mm は小さなサイズに GFX の最高画質を詰め込んだレンズということです。そもそもレンズとは光を曲げることで狙った像を結ばせるわけですが、 ここで強く曲げすぎると周差が発生します。つまり画質に影響します。すなわち高画質なレンズを設計するならば、できるだけ素直な光学的に無理のない光線を描くようレンズを配置することが重要です。GF35-70mm ではレンズに入射した光を最小限の曲がりでセンサーまで届けています。ただし、これだけでは GFX の求める画質にはまだ届きません。もう一つ工夫があるのです。ご覧ください。絞りを中心に前後でバランスよく対称的にレンズが並んでいます。レンズを対称形で並べると、レンズの前後でお互いの周差をキャンセルし合うことができます。つまり、無理なく効率的に周差を取っていくことができるのです。これが GF35-70mm の設計思想の特徴的なものと言えるでしょう。特に中心部分に配置されたこの第2群が顕著ですね。ここに1枚の非球面レンズを含む2枚の ED レンズがあります。このように対称形を描くように配置されたレンズが理想的な光線を導いているのです。サイズと画質の両立だけではありません。GF35-70mm はシューティングディスタンスにおいてもラージフォーマットレンズの常識を覆しています。MOD35cm というとても寄れるズームレンズなのですが、それを可能にしているのがこの光学設計です。レンズ後部となる第3群をフォーカス群として設計することで、近接撮影のための移動マージンを確保しているのです。レンズ設計に魔法はありません。確かな理論と豊かな設計ノウハウに基づいた試行錯誤が最適解を導き出すのです。
Thanks, Mr. Nagami. GF35 to 70mm is truly a wonderful lens and a must-have choice when using our compact GFX 50S2. Let me also hear some thought from a photographer who actually tested this lens. Let me introduce Miss Sarah Land. Hello, Sarah. It's very nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we have last met. It was probably two years ago.
I think
GFX 100 event or something, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But before going to the details, could you give us your introduction?
Absolutely. I am a photographer and a visual artist based in Bassano del Grappa, which is in the north of Italy near Venice.
Okay, so today, we talk about the new GFX camera and GFX lenses. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I have it here.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. Okay, then my first question is, I'd like to ask you for the first impression about GFX 50S Mark II.
I was really, really impressed with this camera. I knew it would be good. I expected it to be good. Mm-hmm. But honestly, it felt like having the things that I liked about the 100, just like in the body that I like, which is the 50. So it was a really nice camera.
Comparing to the previous GFX 50S, so for your
I still use it.
Still use it?
I love the 50. I think that as much as I love to have like a lot of megapixels, I like how faster my whole process is when I'm working with a 50. And the only thing that I was missing was the fastest focus and the in-body image stabilization. And now I have both. So I was really happy. Yes.
Yeah, that was kind of our answer. So the new GFX 50S2. Yeah, in terms of number of resolution, so 50 megapixel is not the highest.
Yes.
So but what did you feel about the resolution, overall image quality?
Having a good image is not just about like how many megapixels you have. It's something that sometimes as photographer, we focus a little bit too much on. And honestly, when I was working with the GFX 100, very often I would actually use a smaller file size. Yeah, because then if you have too many megapixels, it means that you get less photos in the same SD card. It means that you need bigger hard disk. It means that you need a better computer. And I think that for me, 50 megapixels is like the sweet spot when I can have more than I need. So if I need to crop, I still have some wiggling room, but I still can work the file really, really fast if I need to.
Okay, and the second point is new lens, GF 35 to 70 millimeter, new zoom lens. So what was your impression of the new lens? I think it was very light, small.
Yeah, I was really, really surprised about this lens. I normally do not shoot with zoom lenses, but in this situation, I was actually very, very happy to have a zoom lens. First of all, because it allowed me to be very versatile and very quick. And because I was working outside in insane weather condition, not having to change my lens continuously was very good for me. And then you realize that not only the quality was absolutely stunning, but it was actually so much more nice to work with a camera that was lighter. The autofocus system was impressively fast, but also very, very silent, which is something that I really appreciated. Yeah. And because I was working with dancers, it was really, really important that the autofocus would be very reliable and very fast. This camera would be a 28 to 55 in a 35 millimeters format. And I think it's a very good range for portraiture because you get to shoot close-ups. And in particular, this lens can focus really close. So you can get really close to your subject, but you can also take environmental portraits when you shoot a little bit wider.
So could you tell us, why you choose or you go for medium format system, medium format camera?
For me, honestly, it's all about the quality. There's something about having such a large sensor that makes the image so almost tactile, like you can almost feel the textures of your image. With this camera, I've always found that you get a very crisp detail. You can really zoom into the photo and it's amazing. But at the same time, there's something about it that makes it gentle. And for portraiture, I think that's really important.
And any special comment for Japanese audience in Japanese?
皆様の心から感謝しております。
Great.
Okay. That was best. Like, at least the grammar is correct.
So this lens to be sold at $999 US. Also, in order to make it more affordable, we have created a kit with the GFX 50S2 at only $4499 US. We will start off selling this lens in this kit product, and the standalone lens will follow shortly after. These are not just our topic for today. We have 3 more news to share with you regarding our G-mount system. If the GF 35 to 70 mm is defined as a lens that makes large format system more affordable, the lenses we will introduce today should be defined as lenses that would expand the possibility even further for the large format system. Yuji, are you ready?
Sure, Shin. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm Yuji Igarashi. I'm really excited to introduce some of the GF lenses currently under development. The best way to describe the first lens is more bokeh than full frame. Let me explain what I mean by that. This lens is an ideal option for photographers who desire fast aperture. It is the GF 55mm f1.7. With a slight wide angle of view equivalent to 44mm in 35mm format, you will be able to enjoy the 3-dimensional feel which can only be created by the combination of the large format sensor, extreme details of the captured subject, and the beautiful defocused background. This lens allows you to take full advantage of the unique characteristics of the large format system. This mock-up is based on the optical design that is currently under development. A large format lens with a large f1.7 aperture. And yet, we managed to achieve this size. This will be a must-have lens for you, especially if you are a portrait photographer. Now, the concept of the second lens is more information than full frame. This is a lens that broadens the field of view over GFX system to a greater extent. It is the GF 20 to 35 mm. Yes, we are developing the widest angle zoom lens within the GF lens family. 20 mm is equivalent to 16 mm in 35 mm format and has an angle of view of 107 degrees. The vast vision and overwhelming amount of information that can be captured by this lens is a perfect match with the GFX. One more thing, please take a look. This is the size that we are currently targeting. Size and weight are also very important factors for active people such as landscape photographers. With this size, you should be able to carry around the lens wherever you want to go. And last, but of course not least, is the lens that can satisfy more professionals. This is a lens for professionals who take commercial photo or architecture. Yes, I am pleased to announce that we are finally developing our first tilt shift lens for our GFX system. GFX system is already being used by many professional photographers from various fields with our existing GF lens lineup. Tilt shift lens was desired by many of those photographers and by many of you who are watching this event. I know it's been a long time coming, but please bear with us a little bit more. Currently, we have 13 GF lenses for the GFX system. To add to this, we will have the GF 35 to 70 mm, which we officially announced today, as well as the GF 55 mm f1.7, GF 20 to 35 mm, and the tilt shift lens, which we shared the information. This makes it 17 lenses in total. Please keep an eye on the future development of the GFX system. And today, we have one more information to share with you about the firmware update of GFX 100 and GFX 100S. GFX 100 and GFX 100S both support 4K and F-Log video recording. ProRes RAW support was added with a firmware update last year, and the system is being adopted by professional filmmakers who desire the large format look in their footage. To support these filmmakers further, high-end video recording features are currently scheduled to be added to our GFX system. For our next update, we have decided to support the Blackmagic Raw, known as B-RAW. This codec has an excellent compression ratio, low processor load, and is suitable for post-production work. By supporting this codec, you will be able to enjoy more flexibility in video production. In addition, we are planning to jointly develop an adapter to support XLR inputs, which will allow professional quality audio from high-end microphones to be recorded directly into video files, eliminating the need for filmmakers to synchronize the sound with the video when editing. With the GFX, not only do we aim to attract the creators in the world of still images, but also video. New firmware is scheduled to be released in October this year. Please look forward to it.
Thank you, Yuji. The future of the GFX system seems promising for both cameras and lenses. We have shared a lot already, but today's X Summit event is not quite finished yet. Yes, of course, we will never forget about our X mount system. Back in 2012, we have started our X mount system with X Pro 1, along with 3 XF lenses. For 10 years, while continuously enriching our lens lineups, we have pursued for benefit of mirrorless camera for photographers. The image quality, the operability, and the mobility are what we constantly kept in mind for our entire X-mount system. And this concept and passion of X-mount system has been praised by third-party lens manufacturers, including Carl Zeiss, Tokina, Cosina, and Tamron, which is now leading to the expansion of various third-party options of X-mount lens. X-mount is definitely one of the lens mounts that is gaining more and more attention over the years. However, Fujifilm will never stop our improvements. Next year, 2022, is 10th anniversary year for our X-mount system. For the upcoming anniversary year, we will not look back to what we have done in the 10 years, but will focus on showing what we could achieve and how we could benefit customers for the next 10 years. Let me share 3 concepts we are planning. First, it's a pursuit for more sharpness. The resolution of APS-C image sensor will become more higher in the upcoming future. Higher resolution should allow the camera to capture more details and allow customer to retain the fresh memory he or she had felt when shooting. God is in the details should become a word not only for the larger format, but also for the APS-C as well. Of course, the GFX will be our number 1 option and solution to achieve the best image quality. But this does not mean that the X-mount system would only focus on mobility and portability. From the very start, we have designed our X-mount system to achieve higher image quality beyond APS-C format. The pursuit for more sharpness is a mission we have long worked for and challenged with the X-mount system. In 2012, we announced the XF35mm f1.4 as our very first lens option for the X system. We developed very compact prime lens by utilizing the characteristic of the smaller APS-C sensor, but achieved very sharp images with a beautiful bokeh. And for a long time, this lens has been our epic lens. The lens I would introduce today should become our new epic lens. The image even sharper, and the bokeh even more beautiful. Allow us to introduce XF33mm f1.4.
切れ味、つまりシャープさがこのレンズのテーマです。シャープなレンズとは、工学的に言うと像の歪みの原因となる周差がないということになります。我々レンズ設計者にとって周差を取るという作業は光線の純度を保つことと同義です。シャープなレンズとは リアルな光が映るレンズと言い換えてもいいと思います。そのために今回の設計では非常に多くの枚数のレンズを使って丁寧に周差を取っていきました。このレンズ構成図を見ていただくとわかりますが、第1群に6枚、第2群にも6枚、第3群に3枚と計15枚ものレンズを使っています。従来の単焦点レンズでは考えられないほどの贅沢な構成をとっているのです。周差を取っていくための工夫はレンズ枚数だけではありません。構成にこそ工学設計者の手腕が現れるのです。特徴的なのはフォーカスユニットとなる第2群です。凸、凹、凸、凸、凹、凸と対称形を描くような構造になっていますが、これはこの第2群の中で周差をきれいに取り切ることを意図しています。これによってフォーカシングの際の周差変動を効率的に抑えることができます。また、フォーカスユニットの前に絞りを配置する構成になっていることもポイントです。フォーカス時に駆動するレンズの径を小さくすることができるため、多くのレンズ枚数を使ってもユニットとしては重量を軽くすることができます。この軽量フォーカシングユニットが高画質と高速 AF の両立に貢献しているのです。この XF33mmF1.4 とは標準画角のレンズです。誰もが1本持っていてしかるべきレンズだと思いますが、そのためにはつまり、どんな被写体、どんな距離にも対応できなければなりません。インフから MOD までスピーディーにピントが合い、どのレンジでもシャープに映る。その課題に真っ向から取り組んだレンズが設計できたと思っています。
Thanks, Tiger. We truly believe that this new standard f1.4 lens will become an epic lens for the next 10 years. Let me share the voice of the photographer who tested this lens. Allow me to introduce Miss Charlene. Hello, Charlene. Nice to see you.
Hi, Shin. It's nice to see you too.
Yeah, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Can you give us your quick self-introduction, please?
I'm a Singaporean photographer. I have been, however, living out of my home country for half my life. So in the course of that, I have always been a street photographer from the start. So I do a lot of documentary work, and I have been a Fujifilm user since 2012.
So can I ask, the first question about new 33mm f1.4. So what was your first impression of the lens?
Oh my God. I've been so excited about this 33. I brought that too. So if anybody wants to see.
Okay.
Hang on. Oh, it's not
the focus.
There we go.
It's coming.
There we go. So it's a fair bit bigger than the old 35. When I looked at it, I was surprised at how much bigger it was than the 35. But I mean, given it's got linear motor and like weather resistance, I guess that was okay. I mean, it's a good trade-off. It feels really good in my hand. It would feel really good to use. And I think once I turned the camera on, I was just a really happy photographer. I think the very first thing that I tested with it was how fast the autofocus was, because all of the new Fujinons have incredibly fast autofocus, and I was really excited that we finally had a 50mm, a true 50mm equivalent with that speed of autofocus, and it is so fast. Like I shoot frequently from like buses and trains and just moving vehicles, and I shoot a lot of moving things as well. And the camera never lost its focus on anything with this lens. It just snapped on. It stayed on in a variety of light conditions. And, I always got the picture. Secondly, I'm amazed at how beautifully sharp it is. It's sharp, like everything is incredibly detailed. But you still have that really organic quality of image, which I truly love about that. I'm really truly excited about it, and I couldn't stop testing out, I guess you could say, is the bokeh on this new lens.
Yeah.
It is so beautiful and so smooth and so buttery. It's mouth-watering. So yeah, those are my highlights for me. I mean, for me, after one day of using it, I think that the thing that hit me the most about it is the perfect lens. There's nothing wrong with it. Anybody that wants to make, professional quality output, if you're in the market for a 50mm equivalent, I would just buy it. There's no question. There's nothing really to think about. I would get this. I would choose this myself. So, yeah.
Okay. So comparing to 35mm f1.4 with new 33mm. So what is the biggest difference?
I think for me, the number one difference is just the sheer speed of the autofocus.
Speed, yeah.
Yeah. As far as image quality, etc. goes, I would personally use either. I mean, I think I'll always have a 35mm in my bag.
Sure.
Just because it's what I know how to use. But for that little extra clarity, the little extra sharpness, that little extra punch, the new 33mm definitely comes into play here. So yeah, I would use both of them for anything, to be honest. So,
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Charlene. Yeah, it was very good conversation. Okay, Charlene, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Ciao.
The lens that we pursued for more sharpness is not just the XF33mm. Yes, we are aware that there are many fans of the XF23mm as well. This is the new XF23mm f1.4. The present one is a great lens, but this new lens surpasses the predecessor for every feature. The basic concept of the optics is the same as XF33mm, which Tiger explained. By bringing rich number of lens elements in the first, second, third group, the lens controls the various aberrations optically. Also by downsizing and saving the weight for the focus lens group, it realizes quick and accurate focusing. And the third group works for correcting the aberration. As a result, this lens depicts extremely sharp and clear image from its MOD to infinity. By this latest optical design, the image quality has improved massively. The autofocus speed becomes faster, and the minimum shooting distance has become closer as up to 19 centimeters. Addition to these, the lens has a weather-resistant structure. This lens will be another standard lens for all X-mount users. We hope that many customers would try out this new 23mm. Adding XF18mm f1.4, which we launched in May, these three lenses are the next generation prime lenses that would support more sharpness. Other than the optics, the exterior has also improved as a new generation lens. Miss Aida, the product designer, would explain about its style and design.
レンズのデザインで重要なポイントは2つあります。まず、ボディに装着した時のトータルバランス。次に、快適な操作性が確保されていることです。レンズは単品での美しさももちろん重要ですが、今の、そしてこれからの X ボディを想定しながらデザインしていくことで、X システム全体の魅力を向上させることにつながります。近年、X のカメラデザインは 我々 X デザイナーが望む進化の方向として、クラシックな佇まいの中でも、よりシャープでソリッドな装いへと変化してきました。それらを踏まえて、よりふさわしいデザインを創出することが、今回のプロジェクトの最大のテーマです。交換レンズとして、あるべきサイズ感や、フォーカスリング、絞りリングのベストなレイアウト、ボディとのデザインの調和、そして撮影しやすい重量バランスになっているかなど、それらを念頭に置きながらデザインを進めていきました。そして今回は特に品位向上に注力しました。特徴的な点を挙げると、皆さんが最もよく手で触れるであろうフォーカスリングです。ローレットの幅と断面形状を工夫することで、より美しく見えますし、操作性、つまり指がかりの良さと汚れが付着した際の清掃性を両立しています。この3本のレンズには、これからの X 交換レンズデザインの基準でありたいという思いを込めました。このレンズを持ち出すたびに、レンズに手を添え、リングを回して、シャッターを切るたびに、我々の思いを感じ取っていただけるようにと思っています。
Thank you, Yukari. We should recall what you have told us every time we use these three lenses. Let's hear how the photographer felt about this new XF23mm. Kevin Millins from UK will share his thoughts. Hello, Kevin. It's nice to see you again.
Yes, you too. How are you doing?
Yeah, very fine. So today we are going to talk about our new lens, but before going to that, so I would like to ask you to give us a quick self-introduction, please.
Okay, well, I'm Kevin. I'm a Fujifilm ex-photographer based in the United Kingdom. I shoot professionally documentary weddings, street photography, that kind of stuff, so all reportage. And I think I've been a Fujifilm ex-photographer since about 2012, 2013. So a long time lover of the Fujifilm camera equipment.
Okay, so today we are talking about the new 23mm f1.4 lens. And my first question is about the focal length. So how it is important for your photography about 23mm focal length?
It's a focal length for me that is really, really important. I feel like it gives the closest thing to a natural field of view, the way that we see it with our eyes. And so 23mm allows me to tell a whole story, but it also gives me the opportunity to get in quite close, maybe get a portrait or something, but a couple of steps back and then we have the whole scene unraveling. So 23mm for me is the perfect lens as a storyteller.
And this time you tried our new 23mm f1.4. So what was your first impression of the new lens?
The most obvious thing really was the speed increase in terms of focus acquisition. It was very noticeable. The face detection using the X Pro 3 that I've been using has been amazing. It's a new lens really in any way. It's just a better version of what was there previously. It doesn't feel like a physically different thing. And now I've got the new 23mm lens is allowing me to move forward with that ambition really quick, unobtrusive, and giving me all kinds of options in terms of the pictures I can get.
Okay, so this 23mm new lens together with the 33mm f1.4. So this is kind of our new generation prime lens series. So how did you feel about this sharpness of a new lens?
And actually, it's remarkable, really, that it can be so sharp and yet so quick. I've been getting pictures that I feel like I probably wouldn't have been able to get with the previous version of the lens. So yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen a great improvement with the new version of the 23mm lens, and it's just fun to use. It's really fun to use. It's one of those lenses that I think I will be definitely using probably for more than 90% of the shots that I have previously.
Okay. So could you please give some message to the audience who is watching this X Summit?
Sure, of course. So, well, we've all had a pretty torrid time the last 18 months, but the important thing is to keep documenting, keep taking pictures, whether that's just in your own home with your family, whether it's the street, whatever. We've all kind of got to this point where we just want the world to carry on, and yet we still need to remember the stuff that's happened. So always keep taking pictures, always.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. So that's it for our conversation. So I expect you will deliver very nice photo with these new lenses. We really expect it. Thank you very much, Kevin. See you soon next time. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Take care.
We've spent too long for our first concept, more sharpness. Talking about our next 10 years, sharpness is, of course, not the only mission we have. Allow me to briefly share our remaining two concepts. The second concept is wider field. Presently, our X-mount system covers from 8mm to 400mm. For the future XF lens, we will expand these options wider and longer. The first lens that is planned to come is the super telephoto zoom XF 150 to 600mm. This lens is under development, and we will share the schedule and details in our future X Summit events. Our third concept is seamless still and movie. Now that many customers seamlessly enjoy capturing stills and movies, future lenses should be engineered to support both purposes. Also, since the shooting style is different for still and movie, there is no system that are perfectly optimized for both at the moment. Today, we introduce a new generation lens, which has an interface for the new shooting style. It means the lens works seamlessly for both still shooting and movie shooting. The new lens name will be XF 18 to 120mm. Okay, now that I have explained the three concepts for the next 10 years of X-mount lenses, allow me to introduce the availability of the lenses. The XF 33mm will be in store from end of this month at the price point of $799. The new XF 23mm will be in store from November, and the price point will be $899. The XF 150 to 600mm and the XF 18 to 120mm will be officially announced in 2022, which is the 10th anniversary year of X system. Starting from the new GFX50S2 and the new G-mount lenses, we have shared various new information for both GFX and X series system. This is it for today's X Summit.
Shin, don't you have one more important announcement to make?
One more? Oh, yes. Like always, we have one last topic at the very end to share with you.
In 2022, which is the 10th anniversary of X system, not only are we preparing new lenses, but we will introduce the next generation devices and the flagship camera.
What is the new device? A bit of a hint would be stacked BSI CMOS sensor with X transfilter array. We can't wait to share more information about the exciting cameras for next year.
See you all in our next X Summit.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Well, hello and welcome back, everyone. Wow. Well, I am still, trying to gather my notes and my thoughts on what has been announced. But I think everyone who is a GFX shooter or who is looking at the GFX system should be dancing and jumping for joy with all the announcements that have been made regarding this. I would like to bring back Paul and Leon as well. I've also been watching. We haven't really touched on it before the announcement started, but Leon, do you tell us what do you make of the new GFX 50S 2 that has just been sprung at us? Does that sound exciting? Okay. Sorry, Leon, we can't hear you at the moment. So sorry about that. Paul, can we maybe, while we're sorting out Leon's audio, can we hear some news from you guys, from you, Paul?
Well, I think it was there was a few surprises.
There we go. Hi.
You can
Sorry,
hear
we
me?
couldn't hear you there in the beginning. Please, if you don't mind, to just start again from the beginning.
I think there were certainly a few surprises. I didn't get my 85mm conversion lens for the X100V, so no, that Christmas didn't come early for me there. But there were a number of surprises. I think for me, there's a clear focus on the GX range, and rightly so. There's a huge amount of development since that series was introduced in 2017, and it's really exciting to see how much development and what's going on. And I think one of the things that really sprung out at me more than anything else, and I'm not sure whether it got noted quite so much in some of the comments I saw, was the price. Wow, those pricing options are very interesting, because when we look at where it's pitched at, if we think that the GFX series is very much aimed at the full frame market, because of course Fujifilm have their APS-C crop sensor range, and then I think when the GFX range first came out, a lot of people were surprised that they've kind of skipped full frame, so they've jumped straight over it. But one of the things is the medium format pricing was very expensive, and was really only for a particular type of photographer. Whereas from the very start, the GFX has been focused on being more affordable. And this very much carries on that trend. We're looking at, unless I missed it, $4,000 for the GFX 50S2. Now, I had a quick look. I did a very quick look online, and the GFX 50S is priced at $5,500 right now. So that's $1,500 off the price of the GFX 50S for the Mark II model. That's incredible, and put that with the kit of the new 35-70 zoom. That's a very affordable price. So anybody that's looking now, considering a full frame system, might well be well worth their time having a look at that GFX range, because suddenly it opens up a whole new avenue for photographers that are looking for an affordable way into a larger sensor system. That I found very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. As you can see, I shared my thoughts during the show already. I couldn't contain myself, and yes, it's definitely making me think as well. And I just wanted to quickly give a shout out to Leon to say welcome back. I'm so glad that we have you here again. And maybe you can chip in there as well quickly. We heard what Paul is thinking of the new camera in the GFX range. Do share with us what your thoughts are.
Can you hear
While
me
we're
now?
looking at Alan and him also clearly being very happy about that price point.
Is my audio back on?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
it is.
Okay, cool. Great. So the GFX 50 S2, I think really it's a sweet spot because the first 50 models, they were kind of slow in operation, and whatever Fujifilm learned from the 50 and the 50R and the 50S, they upgraded the entire experience, not just the pixel count when they introduced the 200 megapixel bodies, but now all the GFX users are thinking, you either go for the slower, older 50 models or the really, what do you call it, processor intensive 100 megapixel models. And even the one lady said that she often shoots a lower resolution 100 megapixel because she benefits from the speed of the camera body. And now the 50S Mark II gives us the best of everything. It gives us the processability of a 50 megapixel file, but also the speed and the IBIS that they are known for with a model like the GFX 100.
Yes, absolutely. I do share your thoughts with that. We spoke a little bit offline in the couple of days leading up to the summit, and you were saying how excited you were in the hope that something like this would get announced. And I'm personally not really a GFX system user, but the more and more the system gets refined, the more it's getting my attention as well. And I was also, looking at that lens and, thinking that I think maybe Paul will have to, really think hard about his new lineup range, because when I see this lens, how unbelievably small it is, and people talking about how compact and portable and amazingly versatile this GFX lens is. I was immediately thinking, what are your thoughts as far as this system being used for travel photography?
Absolutely, and I think one of the reasons why many of us first were drawn to the Fujifilm camera lineup was the switch over from our old DSLR, perhaps full frame bodies, that we were looking for a lighter setup, a lighter, more portable setup. That was certainly something for me. It was a big draw was the size of these APS-C crop sensor cameras. But of course, as things develop, now we're looking at a medium format camera, which is getting more compact. The power's staying, but it's becoming more and more compact. And that's the thing with these cameras now, is there was a clear focus on autofocus speed, on compact nature, which means that now they are becoming an option. That the size difference between, let's say, a full frame system camera to the medium format is really not that great. And in fact, some of the cameras, I would say, would be on a par. So now we're definitely looking at the possibility, and it's an interesting option, to be able to use a medium format camera for travel and documentary work, which is something which I've certainly never been able to think about before. Certainly medium format for portraiture or things like that, wonderful. But for documentary work, where you want to, as a photographer, you want to capture the moment. You don't want to influence the moment. So you don't want to be too obvious. A large format sensor camera would generally be less discreet. It would be more obvious. Whereas these are becoming more compact, which means they give us that option to fade into the background and capture the moment. So I would definitely be looking at some of these developments, like you, Natalie. I'm not a GFX user, primarily simply down to the size. But this stuff given us some food for thought. And there's developments. I'm seeing new additions in the GFX 50S too, which adds to that incentive to look again.
Yes, and did you see the size of this lens? I mean, I was completely blown away when he's like holding this lens and it fits into the hand. I would have never ever expected that a zoom lens for the GFX system can be this compact. I do think
absolutely
this is absolutely something that gets me excited, and yeah, I want to hear from the audience what they're thinking about these announcements. I know, the price is definitely very attractive, and I think that was a very smart move from Fujifilm. And in addition to that, to announce the prospect of it having, of a kit becoming available with that lens. Definitely, I'm sure this is aimed at people moving over to a GFX system, people who have not up until now used the system. So they obviously need to, when they enter the medium format market, they want a lens to go with the camera in order for us to make that, possible. Now there is a lens that is like super attractively priced, which makes it almost irresistible.
Yeah,
So
it's still an expensive camera system, but it's becoming a lot more affordable, and I think that's something which is going to give a lot of photographers room to think about. So that was definitely a surprise to me, a welcome surprise. Now, when we talk about things like some of the technical specifications, especially when we're looking at the depth of field, the bokeh, well, that's definitely more in Leon's field. And I was very interested in some of the science behind it. I was hearing about micrometers and size of the pixels, and that went way over my head. Whereas I can imagine that Leon was all over that information.
I think we should unleash Leon on this one and go.
Some of the information that they've given us is just to get people who aren't used to the medium format system, the GFX system, up to speed, and why this is an option that one should consider if you want to go beyond what the X series has to offer, or even, like they say, beyond full frame. And that has to do with the size of the pixels. Like literally, if you have, let's say you want to collect some rainwater, and each pixel is a square kilometer, the bigger amount of square kilometers you have, the more rain you'll be able to get. And that is what the pixel does. That more photons can be collected by a bigger pixel. It's just the nature of physics. What was interesting is what they mentioned about the micro lenses. So every pixel, each one has a little lens over it so that it focuses the light that falls somewhere on the edge of the pixel where it goes over to the other, so that it kind of splits those out and keeps the light that falls onto the pixel pure, and it doesn't bleed over it. It is really intricate and tricky little science, especially on that micro scale. But what they've done is achieve it, and that's the important thing. And it benefits us because we get better image quality, better noise even than before. What they didn't mention is whether or not it's going to be a 14 or a 16-bit RAW file that we will be able to shoot with on the 50 model. I know the 100 megapixel cameras, GF models, have 16-bit RAW as an option, and that's something that I'm looking forward to seeing from the 50S Mark II. But Paul, remember what I said about the 1855 beforehand? How I miss it? I think this is the GFX version of it, because there's no compromise in image quality, as they mentioned, but they've stripped out a lot of weight, and it makes it a portable, very easy one to keep in your pocket if you otherwise a prime shooter and you want something flexible just to pop on.
Absolutely, all around super exciting stuff. I will definitely do some more homework from my side. But I wanted to move on over to the announcement that have been made for the X series cameras. So the two lenses that have been announced. First and foremost, again, something that sounds super interesting and is something that I think all of us, all three of us, are, feel quite strongly about, because we all do quite a bit of documentary style photography. So a 33 1.4 in a weather resistant, body that is quite something. What do you think, Paul? How does or would that fit into your current lineup?
Well, the original 35mm 1.4 was the lens that really got me hooked on the Fujifilm system. The X100 was my first. The original X100 model was my first Fujifilm X series camera, and then as the X Pro 1 came out with that original 35mm, which is one of the first lenses that came out. But of course, that has been some time now, and when we look at the lineup, that 35mm 1.4 whilst a beautiful lens, it was a little bit slower on the autofocus, and it was a little bit quirky sometimes. And then if you recall a little while ago, those little f2 weather resistant lenses came out, the 23mm, the 35mm, and we lost a little bit in terms of aperture at being f2 lenses. But what we gained were these nice small lenses, and we had the kind of refresh. Whereas now we've kind of gone full circle back, because I think for many of us, this kind of trio of lenses of the 35, the 23mm f2s, and then the 16mm f2.8, this became the kind of trinity of prime lenses that we would throw into our bags. Whereas I started on the 35mm 1.4, the 23mm 1.4, and the 18mm, whatever it was, 1.4, I think 1.8, and I switched over to these smaller ones. Now I'm looking at these new lenses coming and thinking, okay, we're maybe back, because we're looking, they've got super fast. And I think you saw that there was a lot of focus on the super fast autofocus. So we've got a lot of focus on fast autofocus, a lot of focus on sharpness. And we've got that beautiful 1.4 aperture. So we're going to get that really beautiful depth of field back. Importantly, weather sealed as well. That's important, especially for those of us in the documentary kind of area. Actually, whenever you hear about weather sealing, you generally see people testing it out in the rain. For me, I don't shoot very often in the rain, because to be honest, I don't like shooting in the rain. Dust is the thing that affects me more. I spend a lot of my time in dusty areas, say in the Middle East, in the deserts or something like that, and it's dust that plays havoc with my photography often. So the weather sealing makes such a huge difference, which means that this 23mm and of course the 33mm, which has actually given us a true 50mm equivalent. These suddenly become very exciting to me, and so where these 23 and 35s have been my kind of workhorse primes, now I'm looking and thinking, well, maybe it's time to look at those 1.4s again. So very interesting developments. Again, very attractive price points. They're obviously very capable, very tough lenses, and the price reflects that, but very interesting price points. So overall, I think a couple of lenses that I'm very excited to try out and get onto my X Pro 3.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think also, I think you shared a really good, valid point here with the weather resistant and weather sealing. Not only when it comes to rain, absolutely, but dust and everything and anything that could possibly harm your lens is protected against against all of that, and that is also here in South Africa, we have a lot of dust. So that is definitely a bonus and makes the lens amazingly attractive. But not only the 33 1.4 does have the weather sealing, we also have a new version of the 23 1.4, which now is also got a weather resistant body around it. And we're looking at dust, Paul, but maybe Leon, since he was already talking about raindrops and rain and whatever, maybe he's like maybe his environment changed a little bit in the last year, and maybe he does think that it's good that the lens is protected also against rain. So Leon, what are your thoughts on this redesigned 23 1.4?
The 23 actually excites me more than the 33 does, purely because I'm always in my mind, I have either a wide or a telephoto kind of shot that I want to make, and the 35 and now the 33 sits kind of in the middle. But the 23 really got me excited. The reason why I like my 18 so much partly is also because the first version of the 23 1.4 is quite a slow focusing lens, and kind of noisy too. It's a beautiful optic when it nails it, but it's not one of those that I want to take into a street if I want to have if I want it to be snappy. If I have a shot that I want to do on a whim, turn around, focus, and get it done, that's not the lens to do it. It takes its time. And this gets me really excited that it's so fast. But two other things that they mentioned along with this 23 millimeter lens is, well, actually with both of these, is that they have 15, it's a reworked optical designs, 15 lens elements in 10 groups, giving a better, what do you call it, aberration control. It tries to eliminate as much of it as possible. And key is how close focusing the 23 millimeter is. That's 19 centimeters. Up to now, the wide angle close focusing party trick was only for the 16 1.4. So if you want to get some wide angle shots that look a little bit like approaching a macro, but you get more of the background seen, it's not a look you often see. If you get close, it's normally with a macro telephoto, and the 16 mm did something interesting with that. Now the 23 offers it as well. And the other really interesting point was that they mentioned that it will, the new optical formula is aiming for a higher resolution, for more detail. So whatever the new camera is that they have in the pipeline and the new sensor that they dropped some hints on at the end of the presentation, if I can speculate, if I may, full frame cameras now are comfortably sitting at 60 megapixels, some of them. APS-C sensor is typically 2/3 the size. So I'm guessing 38 to 40, maybe 42 megapixels at a stretch on an APS-C sensor should be possible. Theoretically, I'd like to see it done because this will be really impressive. I don't know, what do you think about that resolution, Paul?
You see, that's the thing. When we're looking at these developments coming out, I feel like we haven't had the full story yet. I feel like there's more in the background going on that is being developed, and I think there was a few teasers. A few teasers there, and I want to be very clear that we've got no inside information on this, so we're speculating as much as anybody else. But I just feel like these are designed to do more than our current lineup allows to do, and so I'm wondering what's to come. And obviously, at the end of the presentation, there was some hints. I certainly know what I think I would put my money on, but I'm not going to speculate too openly yet.
Yeah, we've hardly digested all the announcement that we've been speculating recently, and you guys are already out the starting blocks with more speculations. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly jump in where Leon shared the closer focusing distance on the 23, because that really got me very excited, because I absolutely love this about the 16 mm. the fact that you can really focus super close, and that they now brought this in into the 23 as well. 19 mil close focusing distance is really nice, and that is definitely going to be a point why that will win me over. That is for sure.
And even on the 33 millimeter. That was only a 30. The minimum focus distance on the 33 was 30 centimeters. Now I can't remember off the top of my head what the 35 mil 1.4 was, but it wasn't 30 centimeters. So these are
more than that as well.
Yeah. But these are welcome improvements.
Oh, absolutely, yes, definitely so. And I would like to know from the audience what some of their thoughts are. If you are still here and watching with us, please do share in the comments some of your thoughts regarding these announcements, regarding the lenses, but also, the GFX system. And at the same time, also, we had the head office shared a little bit of a look into the future, what is in the pipeline for next year and even the year thereafter. So, I think it was Leon who mentioned at the beginning of the show that he has his heart set on the 150 to 600, which now it's out in the open. It's definitely something that is coming. And yeah, so if you are in looking forward to any of these kinds of announcements, do share that with us in the comments. We would really love to hear some of your views. We've got this broadcast today because we want to hear from everyone. We want to hear from the community. We want to connect with you and listen to what your thoughts are. And if there is more detail that you would like to find out from Fujifilm South Africa, or from wherever we are broadcasting from, Mauritius, the Netherlands, whatever it may be, you are more than welcome to reach out to us. You can send us a message, and we can start a conversation. I think we do have a few more comments here. Hello, Patrick. It's so nice of you to see you, that you also here on the stream. He says he still loves his 18 millimeter workhorse, but cannot. Sorry, that comment just. Can I please have that comment back, because I have not finished reading it. So if I can get that again. I don't know. Sorry. Maybe some of you have seen exactly what Patrick was sharing there. He said he can't wait to try the 23. Thank you guys for bringing that comment back. So Patrick is as excited as me as about this lens. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Do we have anyone else in the audience who would like to share some thoughts, comments, questions with us? Yeah.
Somebody's trying to phone it through.
Yes. I just see, because Patrick is mentioning the 18 mil. Maybe there was something. You also got your heart set on the 18 mil. Sorry. And there we've got Pierre, who's saying, I'd like to know how good the new X-mount primes are for video. Also digging into the GFX system for video with the new XLR attachment and raw recording options. For everyone who's watching who doesn't know, Pierre, he is one of our ex-photographers here in South Africa. He is a videographer, and therefore, obviously, his keen wanting to find out more about all these announcements regarding his genre. So Leon, sorry, we cut you short there because there was this comment of Pierre's, and
no worry.
but maybe you can. I don't know. Do you, Leon? Do you shoot a video at all? Do you have any experience with those lenses, or anything that has been announced that may enhance.
I'll tell you why I don't shoot that much video, and it is always been my excuse that if I wanted to shoot video, I needed to have two systems for it. And most of the lenses, as they've mentioned, is still not optimized for the use in for video and stills. And at the end, they said, well, the 18-120 that they are working on at the moment, that's in development, that is meant for stills and movie use at the same time. So what that means, they didn't say, but I think it's a really interesting thing, because the struggles that stills users have when they want to shoot video is the same as video guys wanting to shoot stills. The technology is in principle the same, but in practice, they set up slightly differently. So I'm very interested to see what's going on here. The kind of videos that I want to make is, I'll put that on a back burner. I won't say too much about that now, but it's definitely more in the fine art genre, and not so much in the documentary field, which is, I'm a fine art trained person. So that's the one thing that got me excited, is when they said that the GFX system is actually being tweaked to also to reach the video producers. It's the filmmakers. That's a really cool move, because it's an image quality that you won't be able to find in any other system.
Yes.
Can I maybe go on to and just say what I'm most excited about out of this entire presentation?
Please do. I'm sure everyone is.
They just dropped it like a little crumb. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Oh, that's something extra. It's that there's a tilt shift lens for the GF format that's in production at the moment for 2023. That's something that under the professional photographers has been lacking from the GFX system. When you want to shoot architectural stuff and you want to correct your perspective, your converging lines, or you want to change your the focus plane so that it's not parallel to the imaging sensor, like when you're shooting down onto a bowl of soup and you want the entire top of the bowl of soup to be in focus but nothing else. As it goes away from you, that wouldn't be possible with the regular lens, but a tilt shift lens makes this kind of product in architectural photography possible, and I think that is probably the most exciting bit of news, especially for the GFX system, for me.
Yes, absolutely. So I think what was shared was a lot of, what is yet to come. So there are many exciting things coming the Fujifilm way. So they are keeping us, on our toes, and I am sure the future is looking very exciting. I am so grateful to the both of you that you took so much time out of your day to join us here this afternoon, and I think we've been here for a good 2 hours by now. So I think we have given everyone a lot of stuff to process. So I think we can safely say that lots of stuff to come, lots of things coming in the near and a little bit the distant future. Like I said, please, we would like to keep the communication open. Do approach us, do send us messages, communicate with us. We are always keen to help and share wherever possible. But from me now, I think it's time to say goodbye and let you all go your merry way. I want to say a big thank you to Paul and to Leon for joining me this afternoon, and also to the audience.
You're very welcome.
Yeah,
It was fascinating to speak to both of you. I think there's some very exciting things coming out in the very near future. We will have to wait till the end of the month to see to get our hands on some of these things. But I really appreciate that we've got that roadmap into some of the future, and no doubt we will be back here again soon talking about talking about the next series of developments, because that's, I think, one of the things that keeps us all so interested is knowing exactly where this roadmap is taking us. So exciting times ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for the chat, guys. It was cool to be part of this conversation and get an idea of what Fujifilm is planning for the next decade. It's a continuous development. It's not just minor upgrades. They're really trying to stay ahead of the game, actually, and being in the front row seats of these developments is a very exciting thing indeed. Thank you very much.
Yeah, super exciting stuff. Thank you, guys. Thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks for participating in our polls and sending us your comments. Like I said, do keep the conversation going, and I can't wait till the next one. Up until then, you all stay safe and healthy and well, and we will connect with you again soon. It is goodbye from me for now.